Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Let's give a couple of more minutes to everyone to join and then we'll start. Okay, so we are on time, so let's go ahead and start. So let me share my screen and we'll go ahead. Hope you can see my screen. So today we are going to discuss about lead nurturing, what is lead nurturing and how to set up lead nurturing or engagement program in Marketo. So just from very basic, lead nurturing is a kind of marketing tactic where you provide some useful valued content to your audience on a regular basis that helps them learning more about your services, your products, and about your company as a whole, and move them towards the down the funnel, right? So it's like once they are not even aware when they start just visiting your website, or maybe you just did a list purchase and you just start sending out some emails or some piece of content to them. So at that stage, they are not well aware about your company, your services, and what are the problems that you are solving. So that's why in a lead funnel we have different stages, like awareness or engagement, consideration, preference. Then we say it is converted, and once they are our customer, we work on customer delight and retention kind of thing, where we try to convert them in your product advocates kind of a stuff, right? So there are different types of content that you have to deliver based on in which stage they are into that lead funnel, right? If they are, let's say, if they are in awareness stage, where you are just making them aware about your company, about your products, about your services, then you will provide some educational content, some blogs, some cheat sheets, some things like that, right? Once they are kind of aware who you are, they know about you, you start providing some more valued content and try to move them from awareness to engagement. And if you keep doing that, let's say they are in right now in preference stage, where they are kind of evaluating your products and things like that. So at that stage, you start providing information around product features, how easy it is to set up something in that product, some Q&As or assessment kind of stuff, like are we a good fit for you, you can go ahead and take this assessment kind of stuff. You can start doing that. And once they are in that convert stage, you start providing pricing details, customer references, and sales start collaborating more from that stage, and try to convert them into a customer. Once they are your customer, you work with your support team to make sure they are getting enough support while they are using your products or services. You start providing some useful content around product onboarding, some templates. So for example, if you look at Marketo as an example, right? So what Marketo has done for product onboarding, send some emails as well, like what are the best practices setting up a Marketo instance or emails in Marketo instance, and at the same time they also provide some out of the box build inbuilt templates, program templates that you can just go and inherit in your instance, and it's kind of a really great start for you to start setting up your lead scoring, lead nurturing, or any sort of those really difficult and complicated stuff. So these are the kind of stuff that you start doing that from there, right? So the whole point about lead nurturing is not to send just emails on a set interval basis, but you have to really start thinking from how you can engage users, right? You have to start thinking from that engagement strategy instead of just pushing some content to them. You have to think like, does it helpful? Does it provide some useful information to the user that will help us winning that customer, right? So you have to start thinking from that. They say nurturing it's like human relationships, right? It goes beyond just sending out some content. It's a kind of a long-term relationship that you have to build, so you have to start thinking from that perspective. So it's kind of a lead journey, like how people start about your company, or about your learning about your services and products. But at the same time, if you see as a marketing operations person, you will see them as a visitor. Then they will become lead as soon as they fill out some form or download some white paper on your website. Basically, if they provide some information about themselves, they will become lead. And from there on, if you start sending out them some useful content, and they start engaging with your webinars, your case studies, things like that, you will start scoring them and make them MQL once they are ready, right? At that stage, we call them, they are warm, right? Once they are in MQL, it's time to hand over that lead from from marketing to sales, right? At that stage, if sales accept that, it becomes sales qualified lead, right? And at this stage, we say it is a hot lead because sales team is working on it, right? The sales sees some potential to convert that lead into a customer. Once they are in your customer bucket, you start providing them some useful content around product onboarding templates. And if you look at Marketo, they do these customer retention programs and all these programs where they announce people as Marketo champion or fearless 50, all that stuff. So by doing that, what they are doing is basically they are converting people, their customers, into product advocates. So these product advocates go in outside, and they really tell good stories about your products and services, right? So that's how you build that. So I guess you now understand what is lead nurturing and what are the main benefits. So without further ado, let's see how to set up a lead nurturing or engagement program in Marketo from here. So before going into Marketo, let's take a moment and learn a little bit about engagement programs in Marketo. So Marketo is well known for its powerful engagement engine. And why it is powerful? Because it helps you delivering the right content to the right audience at the right time, right? You can leverage all the data that you have about your prospects and customers. Marketo helps you track all those 360 behavioral data as well as their demographic and firmographic data. So you can blend all that data to really look at your target audience and really understand who you should reach out to. Engagement programs in Marketo brings more power to the marketing managers to set up an engagement engine to keep prospects and customer warm and connected with your brand. Right. So as I explained, if you have a really great engagement strategy first, then Marketo can help you, executing that engagement strategy. There are some very powerful functions within Marketo to help you driving that engagement. We will walk you through that. Engagement programs in Marketo allows you to set up simple to very complex nurture campaigns where you can present the content to and your uh, content to an audience in a systematic way, right? So it totally depends on you. And if you are a new customer, I would say a new user in Marketo, and you are trying to set up engagement program for the very first time in Marketo, I really recommend to go very simple at first, and from there learn more about engagement programs, learn more about your audience, how they are interacting with your content and all that stuff, and from there start adding more complexities from there. What happens is, if you at the very first time, if you set up a very complex nurture programs, it become really really difficult for you to manage that and really see like what is really happening there. So if you are a new user who is setting up the engagement program, take one step at a time. Okay. So there are a few key terms that you should know about engagement programs. So in engagement programs, you will hear these terms. First one is a stream. So is a stream, you can consider it as a pool of prioritized content that engagement program will use to nurture people. So in an engagement program, you can have multiple streams, and within a stream, you can have multiple pieces of content. When I say piece of content, it can be basically it should be an email, but it can go beyond email. You can add some steps to send let's say SMSs to the user, WhatsApps to the user, or maybe a physical mail to the user. But that needs additional integrations with Marketo. We will not go into that much complexity at the moment, but I'm just mentioning what can be done there. So after a stream, there will be content. So as I mentioned, you can have multiple pieces of content within a stream. So these are the assets, especially like emails, for example, that you can have there. Cast is the event when you send out emails or any piece of content from Marketo engagement program. So that's cast. Stream cadence. So cadence is something that you set up to say, hey, at this particular time, cast should happen at this time, right? So you set up that kind of scheduling. So you can consider stream cadence as the stream schedule as well, right? So stream cadence is the schedule, and cast is the event when it is happening. Okay. Person cadence is the status that defines its ability to receive the content from engagement program. So stream cadence is about the stream schedule, whereas person cadence is telling you about that person, if that person can receive that email or not. It can be either normal or it can be either paused. There are two person cadence. So normal means that person is eligible to receive that content. Paused means you have paused that person to receive further content from that particular stream. Transition rules. So as I mentioned, you can have multiple streams within an engagement program. So transition rules helps you to pull records from one stream to another stream. So based on their behavior, or maybe based on their demographic or firmographic data, you may want them to move from one stream to another stream. So when I say stream, it can be, as I was showing here, right? It can be like, if let's say you have 4 streams: cold, warm, hot, and delight, right? So maybe you were just sending out some educational content, cheat sheets or blogs, but they eventually start, engaging with you, and you want to send them more case studies and testimonials, which is part of your warm stream. So you may at that point you may want to pull them from cold to warm. So you can define that criteria when you want to do that, maybe based on lead score or maybe based on activities that, hey, they have attended at least one webinar, let's move them to warm, right? So these are the kind of stuff that you can do there. That's called transition rule. Exhausted means, in a stream, as I mentioned, you can have multiple content, and then we have transition rules, right? So what happens is, if a person is a part of a stream and he has received or she has received all the content within that stream, and there is no such activity that you can move that person from the current stream to the next stream, right? So at that point of time, what we say is that this person has exhausted all the content within that stream. There is nothing else for this person to receive from this particular stream. Okay, so it means if a person is exhausted in a particular stream, that means that person is not engaged, and maybe they are not the right fit for that content, or maybe they are not really interested. So it gives you some perspective about that engagement as well, like who is actually interacting and engaging and interested in your product versus who is not, right? So exhausted shows you that kind of stuff there. Engagement score, so it's a score that Marketo provides based on a sophisticated formula. It uses opens, clicks, unsubscribe, program status, and other factors. It's a proprietary algorithm that Marketo uses, so we don't really know about what is there in that algorithm, but we just know, like, they uses all these parameters to calculate the engagement score. So you will see 0 to 100 points assigned to these people. So that defines the engagement score. Okay, I'm sure it is helpful now. Let's move ahead. So what we are going to do today is we are going to set up this kind of an engagement program. So it will have three streams: cold, warm, and hot. In the cold stream, as I mentioned, we should send this kind of content like educational blogs, thought leadership, pain points, research, insights. In warm, we will be sending out case studies, deep overview, testimonials, ROI calculator kind of stuff. In hot, we will be sending out free trials, demos, product offer, request a meeting kind of stuff, right? And then there will be an entry, and then there will be an exit, right? So entry is anyone who is a new record in Marketo will be eligible to enter into this called stream, and anyone who unsubscribe, hard bounce, or become a sales accept lead or SQL or added to an opportunity, they will be exited from this particular stream. Because the purpose of engagement program for this one is to drive engagement and move people from cold to hot, right? Now, as I was mentioning, there must be a transition rule, right? So between cold and warm, the transition rule logic says click at least 2 emails. So if we are sending out 5 emails in this first stream, the person should have at least clicked on 2 emails to move from cold to warm. And from warm to hot, at least one form fill out should be there. So these are the transition rule between cold to warm and warm to hot. Okay, so this is what we are going to set up today. Okay, and within this setup, what we are going to do is we are going to create an engagement program, set up streams, add content there, activate, deactivate content. We will go through all these things. So I will go back to this example, and now I will log into Marketo and we'll dive into that. Okay, I'm sure you guys are really interested and looking forward to that. So I'm logged into Marketo. So to set up this engagement program, what we have to do is we have to go into marketing activities, right? Because this is the only place where you can create programs, right? So what I will do is I will go there. I will go into my folder. From there, Marketo training folder. Here I will create a new folder very quickly. Here, which is session 6. Within this, we will go ahead and create a new program, and the program type, you know what it is, right? So it's so within from this drop down, we are going to select engagement, because today we are going to set up a engagement type program, and in the channel it says nurture, so we will just select that and go ahead and create it. So if you see, we have this you know plant and type icon here, which shows that it is an engagement program, right? Now you must be wondering like how to create streams here. So let's take a look. So this is the summary tab of engagement program. Here you will see what channel we are using when it was created, how many members are there, how many are success, how many are there in a specific stream, all that stuff. If I go and change the view, it's used by where this engagement program is being used. So since it's a new campaign, new program, it is not being used anywhere. Membership, it will show you membership trend, how many people and when they are getting added to this engagement program, and then you will see a dashboard. So this is a out of the box dashboard and reporting that Marketo provides you. So right now, since there is nothing, it's a new program, so you are not seeing any content here, but we have some placeholders here. So in the summary tab, you will see overall engagement, how many people unsubscribe, when the next cast is, and it's like about exhausted content. So how many people have already exhausted. You will see that all those details here. Engagement over time, how many people are getting engaged and what are their engagement score over time. You will see that. Highest engagement, it will show you your content and stream, which stream or piece of content is engaging more with the people. You will see all that is thing here. And if you want to change that, you can. Right now, it's showing all stream content, like all stream analytics. You can change that to specific streams as well. Okay. Now I will move to the next tab, which is the stream. So this is the place where you can add or define your stream. So there is only one stream at the moment. So what I will do is, according to our example, so cold, warm, and hot, we'll create 3 streams here. So I will change this name to cold. So you can either click on +1 to add content. We will do that, but before that, we will go ahead and add one more stream. So as soon as I click on this add stream button here, I see another stream added. So cold, warm. Similarly, I will add one more for hot. Now we need to add content in these streams. But do we have that ready? No, we don't. We haven't created any emails yet, right? So what I will do is I will go ahead and create an email. So just for this purpose, I'm going to create only 3 emails, one for each stream, and show you how it works. Not sure what happens here. It happens every time. I have to check why. Okay, so let's try now. New local asset, email. Okay, it's working now. So I will say called email 1 for now, and I will just use any of these template and go ahead and create. In the meantime, I will just go ahead and create another one and one more, just to save some time. So it will be for email 1. This one for this. Yes, we have to open it in editor, and it will be hot email 1. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to add subject line. You can change anything here that you want. So to learn more about all these email editor functionality, I have covered it in our past session. So if you haven't watched that, you can go ahead and watch the recording. Recording is available for that. So from email 1, let's improve it, and it's for email 1. Okay, so we have 3 emails ready, and these are approved and all is done. So what I will do is I will go back to the engagement program, go to this stream. Now either you can drag and drop. No, it's not working anymore. So either you can click on add content, or you can click on plus button here. The type is email here. Program is for a little bit complicated campaigns, especially if you have, let's say, a webinar type of program added to your engagement program, for example. So for now, we will go ahead and just select email and select our email here. So which is called email 1. Okay. Similarly, I will go here and add form email 1, and similarly here for email 1. Okay. So if you have multiple, you can keep adding more and more content to this. Now you must be wondering, like, how to set up the transition rules, right? So this is how you set up these streams, and you add emails and content to this. Now before we do anything else, right now these piece of contents are not activated. So first, you have to first activate this. So you right click on this gear icon, just click on that gear icon and click on activate, right? You will see this green arrow here. Whereas if you see with these two, we don't have that green arrow, and this is little grayed out in comparison to this, right? So if you see anything like this, that means the content, that particular piece of content is not activated yet. So first you have to do that. Now, what you can do now is set stream cadence, right? That means you are setting up it for kind of scheduling it, right? But are we ready to schedule it yet? No, we are not, because we haven't really done the transition rules yet, right? We haven't set up those transition rules. So if you remember, our transition rules says click at least 2 emails and filled out at least 1 form, right? So for the testing purpose, what I will do is I will set up the transition rules here. So let me explain what happens in transition rules. So for cold stream, the transition rule is here, right? So what it does is, if you set up a transition rule here, what will happen is it will pull all those records into the stream who are qualified for that particular transition rule, right? So first thing you have to make sure is that the transition rules between these different streams should be mutually exclusive, right? They should not overlap. There should not be a condition where same person will be qualifying for cold and warm stream, for example, right? Another thing is, if you are setting up transition rule, that means that transition rule is helping to pull records into the stream, right? It doesn't mean that you are moving people from cold to warm and then you will set up that transition rule in cold. No. If you want people to move from cold to warm, you have to set up a transition rule in warm stream and target people in the cold stream to say if they should be part of cold, and they should qualify something. There must be specific conditions. So let's take a look on that, how to set it up. So I will go ahead and edit the transition rule. It's kind of a smart campaign kind of stuff where you need at least 1 trigger, and then you can add multiple filters. So as I mentioned, at least one trigger. You can have multiple triggers as well. There is no restrictions. So if we go back, our transition rule says click at least 2 emails, right? So we don't have 2 emails here, so we just have 1. So we'll just look at that. We will expand this trigger email folder, and we'll say clicked link in email, right? So this is our trigger. As I mentioned, you should have at least one trigger in the transition rule because it's event based. Transition is event based. So you can consider transition rule as a trigger smart campaign as well. So transition rule is a trigger smart campaign which is helping you to move people from one stream to another stream. Okay, so you have to define that email here. So we'll say if that person has clicked on called email one, right? And you can add constraints like if you have specific links that you want to target, or you can say minimum number of times. You can do that. So we can say at least 2 times. Okay. This one will be by default. You can't really change anything or remove this particular filter, which says member of engagement program is true, and it should be part of engagement program and should not be part of warm stream. So why is that? Because this transition rule is working within this engagement program and it's part of warm stream, right? So as I mentioned, transition rule helps you to pull records from one stream to another stream, right? So here we are pulling people into warm stream from either cold or hot or somewhere else, right? So if you are doing that, that means that person should not already be part of warm stream. If they are already part of warm stream, there should not be a transition, right? So that's what Marketo is saying here, that they should not be part of the warm stream. Okay. Now, since we want to target people in that cold stream, and this trigger is should work. But if you want, you can say member of program, member of engagement program, and here we will say program is this, add constraint, stream is called, right? So we are specifically saying that that person should be part of called stream, should not be part of warm, and should have clicked at least 2 times on this email, right? In the flow, by default, it is saying that this person should move to the stream warm, right? That should be the new stream. Now, if you want, you can add more actions here. Let's say if you want to add that person to a specific list, or you may want to send an alert email to your marketing person or salesperson saying, hey, this person has moved to warm. You may want to reach out to them, something like that, or maybe you want to change the score. You may want to change the specific value. So you can do multiple things from here. Okay. So for this purpose, we are just going to change the stream from cold to warm. Once this is done, you can simply close it, and you are done with your transition rule. Similarly, we can set up a transition rule in the hot stream as well, where I will simply say someone, let's say there is a form, contact us form link in one of the email that you are sending out. So we'll just say filled out a form, and it's a contact us form, for example, right? In the flow, we are simply updating that stream from warm to hot here. Once you are done with all your changes, you can simply go ahead and close this window, and you are done with this setup, right? So in the warm stream, people will be coming from from cold, and in the hot, people will be transitioning from warm to hot. But how we are going to add people to the cold stream, right? For that, once you set up your engagement program, you need an audience, right? So for that, maybe we'll create a new smart campaign, and we'll say add to cold stream. And what we are going to do is, since our entry criteria was the net new record, so what we'll say is anyone who is getting created. So there is a trigger, person is created. We will pull that, and we will say if any person is created, and what we'll say is we will say add to engagement program, and engagement program is definitely the program name, and stream will be the called stream here, right? So you will do that, and you will also say that change that program cadence for that person from to normal, right? So what will happen now is we will add that person to this engagement program, and make their person cadence. So if I go back a little, we were talking about this person cadence, right? So this is that person cadence. So we are changing that person cadence to normal. That means we are instructing Marketo that this person is eligible to receive communications from this nurture program stream. Okay, so this is how you set up the entry criteria basically, right? Now what we need is we need exit criteria as well. So as soon as someone unsubscribe, hard bounce or SQL opportunities, they should be exited, right? So I will create another program, another smart campaign here, and say exit criteria. In this again, we will define certain triggers. So unsubscribe from email, add it to opportunity, for example, or changed data value. Data value changes, which is let's say status. So if their person status is getting changed to a new value is, let's say, either SAL or SQL. Right? So if any of these, then they should unsubscribe from email is any. Now what we'll do is we'll go into the flow, and what we'll say is change program cadence to pause. So that means we are instructing Marketo to pause emails for that particular person, right? And we can also add that person to maybe a list saying, hey, these are the people that have exited from that particular stream, right? And if you want, you can also remove that person from that particular stream. So change stream cadence here again. No, we'll just say this, right? It should do the job. Okay, so this is how you set up the exit criteria, entry criteria. So now if we go back to our streams, we have 3 streams set up here. We have transition rules for warm and hot. For cold, we have this entry criteria, add to cold stream. So now are we ready? Yes, we are ready to go ahead and set up this. But before that, we have to set up the stream cadence. We haven't set up that yet, right? So if you have multiple pieces of content here, you have to set up a stream cadence, and here you will define when you want to send out the content to your users, right? So here you have options to select weekly repeats or monthly repeats. We will select weekly repeats. You will select the first cast when you want that first cast to happen. Do you want every week? Do you want every second week? Maybe third week? Do you want to send out emails only on Mondays, or Monday and Thursdays, or maybe all working days but not on weekends? So you can select specific days when you want to send out that email, and at the time when do you want to send this email to your audience. So you can select that time as well. Let's say here we'll select 7 a.m. and recipient time zone, you can select that. So with this setting enabled, what happens is Marketo looks at that person record and look at their location based on their country, their maybe AMPDT. It will first on the go identify that recipient time zone, the person's time zone, and in their respective time zone they will Marketo will send this email at 7 a.m. So if I am in India, I will receive email at 7 a.m. IST. If you are in US, let's say in San Francisco, you will receive that at 7 a.m. PDT. If you are in New York, you will receive that 7 a.m. EDT. If you are in UK, you will receive that at your specific time zone, right? So if you have that enabled, you see you don't see that PDT anymore here. If I uncheck it, it's there. So by default, it's PDT time zone, but if you select that, it will calculate that by default. Okay. So here we can set up that cadence, and similarly for warm stream, it has to be done for all streams separately. So you can select and set up that according to you. Okay. So now you are ready, right? But before that, what I will do is I will here. There is one thing that we should add, right? We haven't added any sort of filter here, right? We should have one filter here saying member of engagement program, and we should say that people who are basically part of this engagement program, member of this engagement program, and if any of those unsubscribe gets added to opportunity, or their person status changes to SAL or SQL, then only they should flow through this smart campaign, right? Otherwise, there is no point for having someone like all your unsubscribes flowing through this smart campaign, right? It doesn't make sense. So we should have that here. Now since we have it, we can go ahead and activate it. Once it's activated, we are good. We have our exit criteria activated. But before I go ahead and activate this entry criteria, I would just mention that. So here we have this setup, but before we go ahead and activate that, right, what we have to do is we have to test it. And Marketo engagement programs provide you that out of the box functionality where you can go ahead and activate test this engagement stream. So here if I go to program actions and go to test stream, I can do that, right? So here what I will do is I will test on my record. So I will just type in my email address here, and I will say initial stream is called run cast. So what it will do is it will send me that particular email. It will run that particular cast immediately. I should receive that email, and it will pause after that. So it will hold after sending me an email, and until unless I say run next cast, it will not run me through any other cast there, right? So with this, it's kind of a debugging thing. You can test each and every step of your engagement program stream, all the content that you have, all the transition rules. So let's say after receiving the email, what happens if I don't click on this email? I should be exhausted for the content, right? Because there is only one email, and if I don't click on it, I will not move from cold stream to warm stream there, right? That means there is no more content for me. I should be marked as exhausted here, right? But if I click on this email, I should move from cold to warm automatically. Okay, so if I go to my emails, I should have received that. So we have it here, right? Now I have opened this email, but what if I click on it, right? Let's see. I have clicked on this email. Let me click on multiple. These links are not working, which is fine. Right? Let's see. If I refresh it, the current stream becomes warm now, right? Because I have clicked on that those emails, right? So my stream, it is showing me the warm stream now. So if I click on run cast, it should send me this warm email again. So this is how you can test all your transition rules. You can, if you have multiple emails and multiple transition rules, multiple conditions, what you can do is you can create a spreadsheet with all the test scenarios and mention all the test cases that you want to run, what is the expected output, and what you are seeing. You can maintain that kind of a sanity check test for you. It will help you to validate everything, all the points, all the emails, all the transition rules, all the cast, all the exit and entry criteria. You can test everything with, if you have a list of all those test cases with you, right? So before activating this, it is really recommended to go ahead and do that. So if I say refresh, it still says warm because I have received another email from warm email one, right? So if I go ahead and submit a form, because if we go back to our engagement program here and go to this transition rule, the trigger is fills out a form, right? So I have to fill out a form to move from warm stream to the hot stream. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can set up your streams. You can add content, you can set up transition rules, you can set up the cadence, and you can set up entry and exit criteria. Similarly, you can test that, right? So we have covered almost everything here, right? Now if I go back to the people tab, it should show me okay, so here it is showing like how many people are there in a specific stream. I think it's not refreshed, so if I go back, refresh it, and if I go people, so since my record is in warm stream, that's why it is showing me one person in the warm stream and no one is there in hot and cold, right? So all cast 0, last cast 0, because we haven't really activated it for the live audience. It was just a test cast that we did, right? So we have done everything here. Next thing is to actually turn it on. So if I go to the setup tab, we have this status here. So if you want, you can turn off the program. So that means it will not send any email. It will be paused. So when you are setting it up, ideally you should turn off the program status. And once you have tested everything and you are ready to go, then you should change the program status to on from that point onwards. These are period cost analytics behavior that we will cover in next session probably. So I'm not going to cover that, but it's program status that I want to show you guys here. Tokens, we have covered tokens in our past session, so you can go ahead and check it out. Basically, tokens are really useful in any sort of program or smart campaigns that you are setting up. In the member tab, you will see all the people part of this engagement program, when they were added, you can see all that details here. And at the same time, you can also check their, in which stream they are. It will show you that, and what is their engagement cadence, right? Is it normal? Is it paused? Are they exhausted? You will see that as well. It says yes because that person hasn't really did any activity on this warm email. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Now if we go back to our main tab of engagement program, and if we switch gears and go to the dashboard tab, it should show me some data here. It is not showing. I think there is a time when they calculate these engagement stream. I think it's at 12 hours when they calculate the engagement score for the people. So you will see all that data here when you start sending out emails to the people. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. So what we did is we set up the entry criteria. We set up cold stream, warm stream, hot stream. We did all these stream transitions. We also set up the exit criteria. We have done everything, and we have also tested it out, right? If you look at these individual steps, we added the content to the stream. We activated and deactivated. So we activated, but we haven't deactivated. But if you want, it's very simple. Go to that particular piece of content and click on that gear icon and say deactivated from here. Okay. Prioritizing stream content. So if you have multiple content, let's say, let me add one more piece of content here just to show you what does it mean. I'm going to add this one here. I will say activate. So what happens is you can simply drag and drop your piece of content to prioritize them. That means that this cold email one will be sent out first before this one, and in between of sending out any emails from this stream, if you identify there is an email or something very useful or very important that you want to share with your audience, what you can do is you can create an email and put that on the top of the engagement stream. So that means what happens is if you add a new piece of content in middle of your cast, what happens is everyone in this particular stream will receive that particular piece of content first in next cast, right? Even though they have received, let's say, second email and they were supposed to receive the third email, but if you add a new email at the top of this stream, they will receive that email first before the third email. Okay, so that's what it means prioritizing stream content. Add transition rules, we did that. Exit criteria, we did that. Add people to the stream, we did that using this entry smart campaign, we did that. Post people in the stream, we did that. Remove people from engagement program. So for this, what you have to do is you have to either go to member tab. You can just simply select a specific person, change their status to not in program, or you can create a smart campaign. Let's say this is the smart campaign. You can do that, and in the flow you can say change program status, this one, and you can select not in program. So if you have a specific criteria, you want to remove people from that engagement program, you can simply do that. Okay. Exit criteria, we defined that. Testing the program, we also did that. Turn off, turn on the engagement program, we also did it. Complex setup, add program to the stream. So yeah, we can also do that very quickly. We have few minutes left, so I will go ahead and create a program here. Let's say we are creating a program for a white paper that we want to send out from here. So you can create actually programs as well inside the engagement program, and within this I will go ahead and create an email. White paper email. And I will just go ahead and create it. And close. Now I have this ready, right? But to add this white paper email, or program, what I have to do is I have to create a smart campaign. Okay, I'll just name it, and in this smart campaign you can add one filter which says member of engagement program and select your engagement program. Engagement program training. Okay, you can add stream as well if you want, but we are not going to do that. You just simply say that this person should be part of the engagement program, and in the flow we'll say send email. You must be wondering like why we are creating why this smart campaign and sending out email from this one. I will explain that very quickly. So the flexibilities that you will get out of it. Now, first thing is you have a separate program to track all the all the engagement for this white paper within this program. You have email that you can send out from here and ask people to just download that piece of white paper. You can have that link added to your email. Now what happens is to add this particular program to the stream, I need this smart campaign. So if I go ahead and do this, and if I select program, it asks me to select the program first, so which is white paper. And then it also asks me to select a smart campaign. So here I have to select that smart campaign. Program may not be added to engagement program. Okay. I have to change that recipe and time zone thing. So with this, you can't have it. So here I will select program and then engagement program. Oh, sorry. Right? So now you have this available here, and as soon as you add that, you see there is a blue, arrow sign here, right? And if I go ahead and check this smart campaign again, go to the smart list, there is nothing else. But yeah. So that this particular icon indicates that it is being used by engagement program, right? So let me go back to the stream, and here we can just go ahead and activate it, right? So since I have added this at the top, that means everyone will receive this particular email first before they receive anything else, right? Now other benefits of having this is that let's say you have 100 people in your stream, right? But you don't want everyone to receive this particular white paper. You want only a subset of those people to receive this white paper. With the standard email sent without using the program, everyone will receive that particular piece of content. You can't really add that kind of suppression or a specific subset to target, right? Let's say if what you want to say is if someone has already downloaded this particular white paper, let's not send that white paper to that same person again. As simple as that, right? So to have that kind of flexibility, you need this kind of setup done. And with this setup, what you can do is within this send email smart list, smart campaigns smart list, you can add that filter here saying if someone has filled out a form, and form is let's say a white paper form, right? If someone has already filled out that particular white paper form, sorry, not this one, we should use this one, not filled out a form, and form should be there, so they shouldn't have not have filled out this particular white paper form, right? If they haven't, then only they will receive this email, otherwise they will be automatically suppressed. So if you need that kind of flexibility where you want to target only a specific set of people from your engagement stream, not everyone, you can have that kind of complex setup. So now you know how to add a program as well to this stream. Okay, so yeah, there are some reports that you can use, like people who have exhausted content. I've shown that. Email performance report, you can create that simple report. You can learn more about understanding the engagement score. You can go to the Marketo product docs. Actually, we don't have much time left today, so I might not be able to cover that. But we have covered the engagement stream performance report. It's actually a separate report that you can create. If you go to the program and right click on it and go to new local asset and say report, you will see all these different types of reports here, right? You have engagement stream, you have email performance report, you have people performance report. So you can create all these kind of reports here. Very simple. Okay. The engagement dashboard, we have covered that today. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. Let's see, we have some questions as well. Let's take a look on them very quickly. This is my first session. Where can we access the previous session recording? Okay, so Anika has already replied. You would receive the email. Yeah, you should receive that email after this session. So probably in the next week, you will receive an email with this recording of this particular session, as well as link to all previous recording sessions as well. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a nice evening, and I hope nice evening for me. But if you are, in US or somewhere else in the world, good morning to you, and have a nice day ahead. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.